Let's talk about the ongoing protest in Lagos State over the abduction and gruesome killing of a student of Lautech Final University of Technology and the killing of the owner of a popular hotel where the student who was killed was working before her abduction. Rachael Opadele, who was a final year student of the Lautech Final University of Technology, was said to have been keeping herself busy working in a hotel owned by Olugbenga Owolabi, who was also killed by these gunmen. Guys, as we all know, the Academic Staff Union of Universities have been on strike for over 5 months, and I may be right to say that the ongoing industrial strike action led to the demise of this poor innocent lady. According to the story gathered, these kidnappers had ordered that a huge sum of amount should be paid for her release, 100 million naira, which the family pleaded that they should be allowed to pay 5 million naira. It was gathered that the kidnappers brought it down to 50 million naira, but was later agreed upon 5 million naira. This is where the transaction began. The 5 million naira to have been agreed upon was taken to the bush by an Okada rider and a family member. It wasn't disclosed the gender of the family member, but along the line after the news broke, we realized that it was a man. They both were on the same motorcycle with the rider. The motorcyclist was said to have been shot dead, but the passenger escaped and was said to have broken the news to the family of the victim. Now, of course, it happened yesterday, and the protest also erupted. So after the ransom was raised, the 5 million naira was taken to the spot described to them by the kidnappers. They were said to have changed the venue about 3 times, and those who took the money there also kept following their directives. Now, they got to the place around Egbeda, and the kidnappers showed up and took the Okada rider with them to the spot where the 2 captives were, that is, Rachael and the owner of the hotel. Then there are now 3 victims there. They now asked the second person, that is the family member, to wait at the junction and asked one of them to watch over him. Some minutes later, the second person had gunshots and he knew that the negotiation had gone wrong, and immediately he scampered for safety, fleeing away from the scene. The kidnappers, they gave him a hot chase, but they couldn't get him as he already fled into the bush and escaped. The news of the killing of the victims and the motorcyclist was said to have sparked the protest and by some students of the university and angry youth in the town, blocking the highway from Isale General to Lautech and Ilorin were also blocked by the students. When the police, the Oyo State Command, were contacted, they only said the public will be updated. Other notable and representatives of the state were also contacted. All they could do was to condemn the incident as unfortunate. The student union government also, SUG, they were contacted and they shared and sympathized with the families of the victims, saying, "It is with heavy hearts that we announce the gruesome killing of our dear student, Rachael, a final year student of Lautech Final University of Technology, that was kidnapped and she was working in Ogbomoso due to ASU strike. Our heart is bleeding. Despite the notice to the government, security operatives, and all other stakeholders, there was no form of genuine commitment by all of them in addressing this ugly trend in our community and the state." We cried out, but unfortunately, it ended just on the walls of social media platforms because we are mere students whose lives mean nothing to the government. Our cries to the government generated nothing more than pains, hurts, fears, and sorrow. If we have government or community stakeholders that responded swiftly to that unfortunate incident, the killing would have been prevented. So guys, this is where I'm ending this story about the gruesome killing of this poor innocent student, Rachael Opadele, the untimely death of the hotel owner, Olugbenga Owolabi, and the unforeseen death of the Okada rider. The grace of God was really on the family member who scampered for his safety, and his angels also blinded the eyes of the kidnappers not to see his traces and get hold of him. Indeed, Nigeria happened to those victims? How can you take the ransom, 5 million naira, and still went ahead killing these people? Not just the victims, but even the Okada man, who never knew that he was going to acknowledge his death. If he had known that his death was calling, he wouldn't have gone. He wouldn't have sacrificed himself for that mission, because it was a strong mission. Of course, maybe the Okada man never knew what was going to happen, never knew the whole story, he never knew that they were carrying 5 million naira to go and give to ransom. Of course, if the Okada man knew now, nobody won't die. Nigeria really happened to them. And indeed, truly, if the master of the house had known when the thief would come, he will stay awake and be watchful to prevent any form of burglary or theft. Every day we cry over the increased kidnapping and killings in our society, in our communities, in our country today. It has now become an uncomfortable country for many people. No wonder the Japa system slang will never be forgotten, because anyone who travel out of Nigeria, anyone who find his or her way out of the country, will say, "Finally, I don't Japa." Guys, the PDP senators already gave Buhari to end the current insecurities in the country. They already gave him ultimatum, or he resigns. And then Buhari gave service chiefs ultimatum to do their work, or else something will happen. Of course, what will happen more than to get them replaced, to make them lose their work, and to bring in another service chiefs. He removed Ngige as the negotiator between the federal government and ASU, and then he appointed the Minister of Education, told him that, see, you have to do your work, end this ongoing strike. I gave you less than 3 weeks to do this thing. But funny enough, he never gave order to bring justice to all these perpetrators causing fears, insecurity in the country. We are now our own security. You are on your own security. You are on your own. You defend yourself the way you have to, and whenever you get the chance to, because government no send you, they don't send you at all. These politicians who think that they have security, they will one day realize that they don't have any security when Nigeria happens to them. It will surely come, because these are the bits they created for you and I to favor their selfish interest, and now the table has turned to the wrong side. Karma indeed. So guys, I really want to thank you for watching this video to this very time. If you have the privilege, if you have the financial, money, you have the money to japa from this country, I will advise you do the same thing. People who they japa, they don't have two heads, there's only one head they have, but they just have to sacrifice and leave this country because of the insecurity. And so I just pray that Nigeria will not happen to you, Nigeria will not happen to me. They will not see us. Anywhere we say they won't see us, they no go see us. So thank you very much for watching this video to this very time. Please support me by liking this video, and then make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, so videos like this you won't want to miss any of them. And until next video, have a good day.